Hi, everybody. We are back and we have Miss Erin Reed with us again today,
Hey,
which
everybody.
is lovely. And she is representing our sponsor, the Crafters Workshop. So I'm going to just hand it over to Erin.
All right, let me know when I get close to time because I'll just keep on going and going. Hey, everybody, it's Erin Reed. I am back again, and this time we're going to talk about Crafters Workshop. Specifically, we are going to chit chat about the amazing stencil butters. Now, I want to flip over my camera and I want to show everybody. Hello, everybody who's on. I'm looking down. It's because I'm looking at the comments, but hey, everybody. All right, so let's take a look at some finished projects using. Whoa, and my camera went. It has done that before. Hang on a second. I got to do a quick something here. It did this before. I don't know why it does this. It drives me nuts. All right, and try this again. Okay. I don't know why it does that. It's very strange.
Yeah.
I know. This is like the second time during a live. It just like it goes wonky and I'm like, what is it doing? So I basically have to turn it off and turn it back on. And pretend like everything is cool, even though I had it all set up ahead of time. Okay, we're good now. Here we go. Okay, here we go. So I wanted to show you some of the amazing projects that I have made using Crafters Workshop. The stencil butters are awesome. We're going to show you lots of the colors, but I wanted to show you some of the projects first. So the watercolor background that is on this page, I know the light's kind of funky. Look at it's supposed to be super light. It's supposed to be very, very like super faded. So I can watercolor with it. It's also the stenciling right here. This is the same color, just in two different ways of usage. This was another one I made for an event that's coming up, and look at this gorgeous page. Look at this. All of the background, the white is paper, but all of the background colors here are all stencil butter, which I absolutely love, 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 love. And then obviously I can make some cards with it. So just look at the awesomeness of the stencil butter. It's got a little sheen and shine to it. It's really, really pretty. So here it's the background here, and it goes along with the stencils, Crafters Workshop stencils beautifully. Here it is on top. You can layer it. This is all ink in the background, Catherine Pooler inks. And then the top layer, because this is the layered stencil, is the stencil butter layered on top. Here it is, beautiful layered stencil butter. Here is, I did like little pieces and cut them out to make a cute Christmas tree and some fun colors. And then this is one of the gold ones here. So pretty. So just to show you, there are 36 colors. Look at all the amazing colors here. Their swatch is available, so you can head on over to the website. I love this because then I'm be like, oh, I have this color and this color and this color. Nice range of colors. And yes, you can use your color theory on this. I wanted to show you my amazing batch. This is how I actually store them, like this, in this little tray. And I can't even all fit them in here because I have so many of them now. So I'm having to move to a secondary tray, and they're just so gorgeous. These little paint pots that you get, they're full of the stencil butters. They are fabulous. There's so much in here. There's 2 ounces. And I get asked this question quite a bit. Like, do they dry out? Is that a problem with when you have them? And the answer to that is, well, if you don't put the cap on correctly, yeah, it will dry out because air will dry it. But I have had some of these stencil butters for over 5 years, and I have only had one that had like a little bit left in it. So, and I use it quite a bit. I do a lot of video content, and I use the butters quite a bit. I had one that dried out on me because I didn't put the lid on correctly. It didn't go on seamlessly. And so it wasn't dead. I still was able to use it, and I got the last little scrapings at the bottom of my jar. So I'm missing a color because I'm out. I need to get another one. But they are fabulous. They're absolutely fabulous. So there is an entire collection. There is one on the website. Head over to the website and you can check out the prices. There's different prices for different bundles. So you have individual pots. There's also some that have bundles of 4. There's a couple that have like bundles of 4, then with a paint palette or with the scraper. I'm going to show you those. And there's also bundles that come with stencils, so you can do that particular project. And then there's the entire collection. I don't have the prices off the top of my head. I am so sorry. That's not my forte. I like to play with it. So I don't have the prices memorized, but you can definitely check them out over on the website. But I was just perusing it and they did have all the bundles, but I didn't look at the prices. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Julie. I understand you want to get them all. They have this beautiful pearlescent. I'm going to put this back. This is where they live, right here. Right here. Like I use them so much. They're right here. All right. So we're going to play with these 4 colors. I pulled them out already, so these are gorgeous colors. We have Dune. Oh, that light is awesome. I meant that very sarcastically. Here we have Fuchsia Voice, and we have Orchid. I love these colors. I like to keep them upside down so I can find them really, really easily. I also am going to grab my palette spreader, and I just have like a big craft mat down here because this makes my life easier when cleaning up. And then I have my paper towel. So I'm going to grab a couple of paper towels, and we're going to get this ready. We're going to do a few different things with this. I'm going to show you some fun. All right, and then I have my palette knife. So I'm going to load, and a little bit goes a long way. Ah, there you go. Thank you, Anne. And push up, put the price up. Here we go.
You're welcome.
I'm only going to do a tiny, tiny bit. There's too much information in my head to remember those small details. And I know it's not a small detail, it's a big detail. But you know, it's hard. And you can either order, I will let you know. So I'm putting a tiny, tiny bit, and then I'm going to clean my palette knife off. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this. I'm going to grab my ledger here. This is the new Dina Wakley ledger journal. And I'm going to open up to a random page. And instead of wasting it on here, I'm going to clean off my stencil palette on here so I can add some extra texture to this. Because why not, right? All right, I'm going to grab another little color. I don't want to grab too much. I can always grab more. And I do this. Jamie's going to tell you don't do this. And whenever she demos, she doesn't. But if I have a little bit of excess or I have a lot of excess, I will put it back in the pot, and I've never had a problem with that. So I feel like if I haven't touched or contaminated it with other colors, I will put it back in. If you don't like that concept, then just keep using it until it's done. You know, it's your paint, your stencil butter to do as you wish. She doesn't do that with hers, but I do it with mine. So I'll leave it to you. And I said, I've never had problems with, you know, stuff happening. But because I'm kind of coming in and I'm doing a little bit of some smooshing action here, I don't want to put this back because it has the other color. But I will add color to here. I don't know if you guys can see this already, but look at that. It's got a little bit of sheeny shine to it already. All right, now I'm going to come in. I do want to get a little bit more off so I don't contaminate. We're going to come in with some Dune. Dune's a really pretty color. There's some very vibrant colors, but there's also some nice, really subtle colors. The other question is, why is it called stencil butter? It's not real butter. No, don't eat it. It's because it spreads like butter that's been sitting out. You know, like when you have room temperature butter and it sits out, how easily spreadable it is on things. That's why I love this. I'm just going to come in, add a little bit of Dune there, and then you're not going to see the Dune, but it'll add like a little pearlescent on this. There we go. And then our final color. I think I'm hard pressed between the turquoise, and then my other favorite is Ocean Mist. I don't know which one I like the better, but I love them both. They're just so much fun. Look at that, so pretty. And can you mix the colors? Absolutely. That's another question I get. Can I take, if they're complementary colors, like can I take these two and mix them together to make a third color? Yep, you absolutely can. So I can do a little bit of that right here. So you can take them and kind of create your own little, like look at that. Isn't that pretty? All right, so now we're going to come in with our stencil. And it goes on everything. Like I'm just grabbing cardstock. This is Nina White cardstock. And we're going to grab a fun stencil. Here we go. If you want to use like a stencil mat or something, let's kind of clean off my palette knife here for a minute. If you want to use something that like makes it stick, or you want to put like magnets down, you're more than welcome to do so. Because I'm just doing a single swipe, I'm going to hold my finger and I'm just going to put it on here and I'm going to pull. And I'm going to go over a couple of different ways. I might have gone too low in the amount of stencil butter I put on there, and that's okay. But as I do this, I am going to get more, it's going to stick to the paper is what I mean. So as the stencil butter is on here with the paper, it's going to stick. And I'm trying not to waste. I think I went a little too stingy in my stencil butter. But that's okay. We'll get the idea. Here we go. You ready? This is the big reveal. Look at that. I like the little pops of color where I really kind of mixed it. You got some fun colors. You can really see. And it doesn't go under the stencil. And I was pushing hard to try and get it in there. So that's why it's called stencil butter, because it spreads like butter, but it works wonderfully with stencils. But you don't just have to use it with stencils. I'm going to let this dry off camera. We're going to play in this book just for a hot minute. So you can also go in, and I have a little palette. These are little 30 sheets, and each one of these has got a little bit of wax to it. So I can take a little bit of the stencil butter, pop it on there, and I'm going to grab a little bit of some Dune. I am going to wipe this off just because I don't want to get that color. So paper towel is your friend. If you want to use baby wipes, it's fine too. I'm going to grab a little bit of Dune, pop that on there. And you can do a couple of different things. So one of the techniques I love is we have these gorgeous brushes. So these are your stencil brushes. Why they're stencil brushes, they have a nice flat tip edge. If you notice, I put a whole bunch of them in a cup. There is larger and there's smaller because sometimes you want just a little bit of fine detail, but sometimes you want a nice big brush, especially if you want to kind of go in with a stencil and use a little bit of color over here, but then have another color and you really want to separate out what you're doing, but it's all in one stencil versus a layered stencil. I also keep color families. So kind of like what I use with my blending brushes here, like I do with my inks, I do the same thing with the brushes here. I don't want it cross-contaminated. I can take these to a sink and I can wash them just like I would any other brush because it is paint. So keep that in mind. So the other thing is I will grab my water and I will add a tiny bit of water to these. And I'm going to grab my turquoise one and I can come in, and this is how I can get a little bit of watercolor now. So just by adding the water to it, I can come in and get a little bit of watercolor. I can go even more. So notice how this is kind of resisting. It's like a little baby paint palette. And now I can come in and I can create this beautiful watercolor. This was already wet, which is why it's blending. I'm just creating some background fun page on my art journal. So here's this. Look at that. I can come in and do a little bit. This one you're not going to see as much, but I can kind of layer on top. It's just making it a little more subtle. And now I can come in and I can blend these. So I can come in and create like a third color. Maybe even a fourth color or a fifth color. I can just play. And because I'm still pretty much staying in the turquoise family, which is why I am not switching brushes even though I have Dune here. If I was keeping more with Dune, then I would do that. But I want to watercolor this out. I'm going to make this a little lighter. Come in up here. Just play. That's not dry yet, so I'm not going on top of that. And just creating a background. Having fun. This is what I love about art journal pages is there's nothing that's wrong about it. So that's kind of like a nice little wash. But now I'm going to come in with this gorgeous mermaid stencil and I'm going to grab another color. I'm coming in to my space here. This is why I have this right here. We're going to pull a couple of colors here. Oops. There we go. So I've got a couple of really pretty blues. So these ones, I'm out of Ocean Mist. Otherwise, I probably would have grabbed that. I've got Denim and Navy, right? So I've got two different blues. And I'm going to take a little bit of both of these. And I'm going to clean my palette brush off. I'm just going to smush it around up here. Kind of get this off. And then I am going to clean it completely because I don't want to contaminate. I'm going to grab some more of my palette right there. So that way I'm not having to dip into this, and you can dip straight into the jars. I've done that numerous times, but sometimes I like to blend, or I don't want to get too much on my, my brush. So this is a way to kind of limit how much I have. But look how pretty those are. Like it just glides. Goes on like butter, right? So now I can come in with my stencil. There we go. And oops, and it just fell to the ground. So I got a couple of different brushes, and I always kind of do this to get them started. Even though they're clean, they're not clean because I've been using them with blue. So I'm going to take a little bit, now dry. I'm not going to add any more water. I'm going to come in and we're going to do just a little bit. So I can actually use my stencil. This is not putting it on super thick. Instead, I am just adding a few little pieces there because it's similar in color. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use this one for the lighter color here. And I want to have a little bit over here. And I'm just doing a circular motion. My dog is going nuts in the corner. He is all excited. My son just got home from school. Look at that, right? Now I'm going to come in and do some more. So we're going to go here. I can do really big. I'm just building some backgrounds for my pages. I'm not going to worry about that I got 2 different colors. Let's just mix them up here. Here we go. Look at that. And then let's have another one. It's almost like a snake skin that I'm creating this fun texture with. So using the stencil butters, we've just done it in 3 different ways. Nice and mixed all together. We've done like a watercolor background. I've gone really thick. And then the third way, which I absolutely, and those were stencils, one without stencil. The other lovely way I love to do this is we're going to go back to our pinky color here. And I just dropped my pink. My spatula is on the floor, but it's still clean-ish. I got to clean it off. And I'm going to grab more of this fuchsia. It does have a dog fur piece on there. Major, you get your stuff everywhere. I love my dog. I love my dog. I love my dog. All right. I don't have a pink, but pink is close enough to a red family. So we're going to steal from the red. I don't have all my other ones. Apparently, I like to have 2 blacks, though. I guess I screwed that one up and made 2 blacks. Okay, so a third way I love to use the stencil butter, or not third way, what are we on, like number 5 or something, is I love to add texture. So if I add a huge clump of this and I come in and add a ton of texture and like just pounce it up, it'll stay that way and it'll dry thick with texture. I can come in, I can add some more texture. So if I want to, I don't know if you guys can see that texture in there. See how it's got like these little dimples? It'll stay like that and it will dry. It will not like move around and go differently. I'm going to grab some blue. I want to create some texture with this dark blue that I have, or this navy. Look at that. So I can create some really cool texture on the background. And you can build it up and build it up and build it up. You don't have to have it. So I can come in now with this on top and build up. I can come down here. I can make this thick, thick, thick. The caveat to going super thick, and I'm going to have to leave this book sitting out, is that it will take longer the thicker you go. So I can really cake this on. So I can come in here and I can really like layer this up and it'll dry just like that. This big giant blob. I'm not going to do that in this book because I want my book to close. But I could. And I've done probably about a 1/2 inch thick, but look how thick that is. And look, it's staying that way. It's not flopping down. It's holding its texture. It's holding its dimension. So it really is kind of like I'm going to flatten this out because I want to be able to hold my book. I'm going to move it around. I'm going to create some more little doodads, almost like little flowers, just little spots. But I can come around and have all kinds of fun with it. So I can be messy with it. I can have dimension with it. I can watercolor with it. It goes to the stencils beautifully. We're going to make this a big blob. It's just a fun background. I had no agenda. I just pulled colors I loved and played. And now I'm going to mix, what am I going to get here? Like a fun purple. There we go. Just playing. And when this palette piece is completely toast, I can rip it off and throw it away. Here we go. I don't know what that color is. It's like a cool lavendery thing. Let's add some of that color on top of here. It's another color. I just need a fun word and we're good to go. I can do some swirls. I can have all kinds of fun. And there it is. I mean, it's just, there's so many fun things, but also keep in mind, you can go clean and crisp with the stencil butters through the stencils. So you can get really, really crisp and you can feel the texture through it. So even through the stencils, if you want to have lots of fun layers, if you want to go thick with it, thin with it, you can. This is another one where I did an ombre effect. Instead of mixing it all around, I did a clean swipe. And then I actually ended up doing 2 cuts with that because I did it like 2 layers between the cards. Or you can just play with it as a background and let it kind of sit and dry. If you put your heat gun to it, I didn't have that ready, but you can take your heat gun to that and it gives it this really cool blistery effect. I'm going to let you play with that concept because it is a ton of fun. So is there any questions we have? Because I know we're getting kind of close to the end of time before we go on to our next live. I think I finished this with about 1 minute to spare. Did I do good, Anne?
You did great. And there's no questions that I've seen. Oh, there's one. Can you use stencil butters on a gel plate? Yes.
Absolutely. So I create a ton of reels and short videos on my Instagram, Erin Reed Makes, but also for Crafters Workshop. And I have done so many amazing gel print pulls from the layers. As it dries, I go in either with like a lighter color like Dune, or I go in with there's also a pearlescent white. So keep in mind, there's lots of beautiful lighter colors. So you can go in with pearl. Oops, you can't see this. I go in with pearl white. And so with the gel plate, if your paint dries on there, just add a new layer of paint, it activates it, and you can do a new pull. So I did a whole series of pulls to create ATCs. I think it was ATCs that I did. I made something. I've done it numerous times. So absolutely, you can. Long story of yes, you can. But there's lots more inspiration over on the Instagram channel for the Crafters Workshop if you want to see a lot more fun ideas. But yeah, you can water it down. You can use your paintbrushes with it. You could paint with it. Think of it like a really, really thick paint, but it's beautiful with stencils. Lots of good dimension.
Yes. Yes, it is. They're beautiful, stunning, shimmery. Yes, all those things.
And as of right now, we're at 36 colors, but
Who knows? So many more possibilities, right?
lots of possibilities.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Erin. This was wonderful.
Absolutely.
So they all got a stencil from the Crafters Workshop in their swag.
Oh, fun.
That got swag. And you'll have to get some butters and try them.
It is just so much fun. Like, again, these little pots, like, oh, it's 2 ounces. 2 ounces. I've had this fuchsia for 4 years because especially if you only have 2 or 3 colors, you're going to go back and use them. You can blend them together as you saw, but a little goes a long way. And I made a journal page and we did a pull and like we did with stencils. So a little goes quite a bit, especially if you water it down and use like watercolors. You got a lot of stretch room with them. They'll last you a while.
How do you have your helping hand?
Oh, I do. It's buried under something.
Yeah.
Oh, where is it? There it is. It was under one of the cards. Yes, my little helping hand.
Yeah.
My helping hand has to help, like do the paintbrush. It's got to add.
All the silly things.
I should have had it like dip into the paint. That would have been hilarious if I'm like, we're gonna add paint today.
Some people put nail polish on their hands.
Oh,
I mean, we have done some have little tattoos on them. So they are.
ideas.
Yes, all sorts of ideas. So thank you all for joining us. We will be back in 8 minutes with Paper Wishes. And then I also added a session at 6 o'clock because I really need to do some announcements and we need to do some giveaways. So
Giveaways. I love giveaways. Giveaways are fun.
lots of fun giveaways. So if I don't do more today, we're just going to be piling them up. So we want to do that. So we will be back in just a few minutes. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.